Ms. Malissa Eaddy from SelectUSA for U.S. Department of Commerce, friends from the AIT in Taiwan, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. On behalf of Industrial Development Bureau IDB of Taiwan, I would like to welcome you all to Taiwan-USA Broadband Infrastructure Opportunities Seminar. Given Taiwan's sound and comprehensive ICT ecosystem along with great flexibility in product manufacturing, Taiwan and the United States have established a long-lasting operation in industries such as semiconductor and ICT. However, with the rapid changes in the global economy and the trade environment, we now undergo the restructuring of supply chain. This complex issue involves many aspects and has a direct impact on Taiwan, the center of global ICT equipment and solutions. At the same time, under impact of COVID-19, remote working and learning is gradually becoming the new norm. This has also accelerated the rapid growth of broadband users everywhere. On top of that, in recent years, we have observed an increasing demand globally for secure and trusted communication networks. Having observed the policies in the United States to expand broadband across communities, and the RIP and replace program to switch out unsecure network equipment. We believe this is also with the goal to eliminate digital divide while driving economic recovery after the pandemic for Taiwan's ICT ecosystem. These developments serve as the opportunity for our excellent selection of companies to work alongside with our U.S. counterparts to achieve mutually beneficial goals. Some of the companies that you will meet today, including QCT, SK, Awin, Aton, Zycel, and Compare, will share with you their expertise in providing customized, diversified, and flexible manufacturing services. I believe our companies can be great partners to U.S. firms in accelerating broadband coverage and building secure, reliable communication networks for the common good. Through the cooperation between Taiwan and the U.S. firms, I believe our complementary capabilities in hardware and software will allow us to develop solutions with even more competitive advantages. In today's seminar for Taiwan-USA Broadband Infrastructure Opportunities, we are very pleased to invite Taiwan's solution providers with proven track record in the global marketplace and to share with us their successful cases and global references. We look forward to fostering more partnership between U.S. firms and Taiwan's ICT industry and to find synergy for more business opportunities. With that, I wish you all a fruitful session. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Tiffany, and greetings, good morning and good evening, everyone. 大家好，我是美国在台协会商务官霍坎林，很高兴看到这么多与5G通讯相关的线上参加今天的研讨会，一起探讨研究5G Open RAN 发展的重要性。I would like to thank the team at Eaddy and IDB for their cooperation and for their consistent support for our shared U.S.-Taiwan initiatives. We've collaborated on several successful events over the years, and I'm very grateful for our partnership. We first learned about the Taiwan-USA online seminar for broadband and open networking during our first 5G working group meeting with MOEA that was held as part of the US-Taiwan Technology Trade Collaboration, or what we call TTIC. As our commercial chief Brent Umdahl mentioned yesterday during the forum, the TTIC platform aims to bolster bilateral trade, investment, and industrial cooperation between the United States and Taiwan, while at the same time strengthening Taiwan's role in critical supply chains in industries such as semiconductors, electric vehicles, clean energy, and of course, telecommunications and 5G. It's evident that the telecommunications sector as a whole is evolving from traditional network stacks to flat architecture, to a flat architecture that will enable increased flexibility. Next generation networks like 5G, and by the way, we're already starting to hear about 6G, are becoming software defined, virtualized systems based on cloud-based architectures. Combined with our enabling technologies such as artificial intelligence and machine learning, multi-access edge computing, and heterogeneous radio access technologies, the next evolution in wireless connectivity presents significant opportunities and complexity. With the collaboration with the US companies and Taiwan hardware suppliers and software providers, we are looking forward to producing the most innovative technologies that are leading these trends and offer solutions at every segment of the network architecture. I'd like to applaud the work that Eaddy is doing in Taiwan to research and develop 5G energy saving base stations that will contribute to net zero carbon emissions. I understand that these base stations will use 5G O-RAN technology in order to save energy. We're eager to learn more about initiatives like these and to find ways to introduce solutions from the United States to contribute to their development and deployment in Taiwan. And we feel strongly that as the US seeks to modernize its infrastructure, Taiwan's technical capacity in the 5G area will serve as a solid backing to US companies and will allow Taiwanese companies access to the massive consumer base that exists in the United States. On the consumer side, the Global Mobile Suppliers Association forecasts that 5G adoption in North America will exceed 50% of mobile subscribers by 2025. And that will account for almost all mobile capital expenditures in North America over the next 5 years. Furthermore, the recently signed Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, also referred to as IIJA, allocates $65 billion of investment for broadband infrastructure deployment. Today, you will be hearing more about this bill from our colleague, Melissa Eaddy of the SelectUSA office in Washington, D.C. And I'm pleased to share that my team, consisting of commercial specialist Rita Chen, trade coordinator Lin Gao, and myself, are actively recruiting a Taiwan next generation telecom delegation to travel to the United States in June, where the delegation will make stops in Silicon Valley, Seattle, and National Harbor, Maryland to attend the 2022 SelectUSA Investment Summit. The SelectUSA Investment Summit is our flagship investment attraction event. This year, attendees will receive briefings from cabinet officials on the latest economic trends and policies, learn about the latest investment opportunities in the United States, and have a chance to meet with state and local economic development agencies from all 50 states that can help them facilitate their business expansion plans in the United States. If you have any questions or would like additional information, please feel free to contact my team, who have put their email addresses in the chat. We're ready to work with Taiwan companies in investing in the United States and partnering with US companies wherever possible. And I have every confidence that the Taiwan-US cooperation will be successful in its goal to restructure global supply chains and expand bilateral collaboration. And so with that goal in mind, I wish you all a wonderful event. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, everyone. So we'll begin. So back in early 2020, then candidate Biden had outlined a broad policy of objectives. He had a lot of ideas in regards to mobilizing American manufacturing, as well as American ingenuity to build modern infrastructure, mobilizing American talent for caregiving and education and workforce. So that was divided into two different bills, the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, also known as the IIJA, or the Build Back Better Act, which is the BBA. So the Infrastructure Investments and Jobs Act passed in November 2021 with $1.2 trillion investment. For bills to be signed into law for the U.S. government, it has to be passed from House to Senate and then to the White House. Currently, the Build Back Better plan is still held up by Senate. The IIJA is designed to give Americans a push further into the 21st century by means of hard infrastructure. This means revitalizing roads and updating rails, ports, airports, bridges, etc. But it also emphasizes clean energy, combating climate change, water management for clean drinking water, wildfire management, etc., in order to have the United States better handle climate change impacts. It also covers utilities for smart grid architecture and cybersecurity. The ultimate goal is to make things easier for people to live, commute, and communicate throughout the United States. So let's go over the breakdown of the IIJA and what the $1.2 trillion mean. You can read along with me. So with roads, bridges, and major projects, $110 billion went into the funds for roads and bridges and major projects. $40 billion went into new funding for bridge repair and replacement and rehabilitation. $16 billion for major projects that are too large or complex for traditional funding programs. $11 billion for transportation safety. $39 billion to mobilize transit and improve accessibility for elderly and disabled. $66 billion to eliminate Amtrak maintenance backlogs and modernize the Northeast Corridor. $7.5 billion to build out a network of electric vehicle chargers. $5 billion goes for zero-emission clean bus or school buses. $2.5 billion goes for zero-emission for clean ferries, and $1 billion for refunding and connecting communities that are divided by transportation infrastructure issues. We also have the $25 billion for airports and $17 billion for ports to address repair for maintenance backlogs, $50 billion to protect against droughts, floods, wildfires, $55 billion to replace lead service lines, $65 billion for the broadband infrastructure deployment, $21 billion to address legacy pollution, and $65 billion to invest in clean energy and transition into new transmission and lines to facilitate renewable energy. But what I want to focus on more is the high speed and internet and broadband. So with that, the IIJA sets forth $65 billion to invest into broadband. Out of the $65 billion, $48.2 billion will be administered by the National Telecommunications and Information Administration, also known as NTIA, and their newly established Office of Internet Connectivity and Growth, also known as the OICG. The OICG is dedicated to achieving the administration's vision of digital equity and universal access to broadband. OICG administers a range of broadband and digital equity grants focused on promoting broadband access and digital inclusion. So the NTA has several experiences in a continual promotion of broadband infrastructure, development, and digital inclusion efforts through its Broadband USA initiative, as well as current grant programs. So the NTIAs engage in a number of efforts to help ensure 5G networks and the supply chain communications infrastructure, which is with the implementation of National Strategy and Security 5G that was created in 2020, as well as the Communication Supply Chain Risk Information created in 2021. The Federal Communications Commissions, also known as the FCC, must establish an online mapping tool to provide geographic footprint for each federally funded broadband infrastructure deployment project. The Government Accountability Office must elevate and report on the process used by the FCC for establishing, reviewing, and updating the upload and download speed thresholds for broadband services. The Government Accountability Office must submit to Congress to report its estimates of numbers of skilled telecommunication workers that will be required to build and maintain 1, broadband infrastructure in rural areas, and 2, infrastructure needed to support 5G wireless technology. So with the new funding of the $1.2 trillion, the government is also distributing $550 billion for a whole government effort. So roads, bridges, and ports are under the construction and consideration of the Department of Transportation. Grid infrastructure and EVs, hydrogen technology, and nuclear power is under the Department of Energy. Water and infrastructure is under the Department of Interior Design, as well as the Environmental Protection Agency. And then the Department of Commerce deals with broadband, as well as the Federal Communications Commission deals with broadband and well as 5G. We already have funding mechanisms that includes grants, loans, contract authority, credits, and rebates. Eligible entities include state, local, and public authorities, private entities, nonprofits, institutions of higher education, Amtrak, grid and electricity operations, as well as national laboratories. So with that, we are leveraging the private sector investment. So you also have programs such as the public-private partnership, also known as the PPP, which requires value for money analysis for any transportation infrastructure finance with the FAST Act, as well as the federal permitting improvement, which amends Title 41 for fixing America's surface transportation and removes the issues with infrastructure and the inability to proceed for cleaner and more smoother environment and emissions. And the private activities bonds raises the federal cap on tax-exempt private activity bonds from $15 billion to $30 billion, expanding the scope of infrastructure projects developed and financed by the private sector. And then we have the difference between Build America and Buy America. For more information on both, Buy America provisions prevents funding or infrastructure projects unless and all of the iron steel manufactured productions are materials used in the United States, and the IIJA establishes a waiver process. So when the requirements are inconsistent with public interest, such as like iron, steel, or relevant manufactured goods that is not produced in the United States, insufficient and reasonable availability or satisfactory quantity is when the requirements will increase the cost of the overall project. And the IIJA establishes buyamerica.com, which is easily accessible for all to view. Excuse me. So with that slide, everyone's probably wondering, what exactly does that have to do with foreign direct investment? Well, there are grant programs that the IIJA allocated to the United States, as mentioned previously in a slide. And the state economic development organizations, also known as EDOs, are able to provide services to small businesses that are foreign direct investments. SelectUSA can help with that. SelectUSA is a government program led by the U.S. Department of Commerce that focuses on facilitating job-creating businesses investment into the United States and raises awareness of the critical role of the economic development and what it plays in the U.S. economy. Companies and startups that are interested in investing their business into the United States can contact SelectUSA for assistance. We provide general services such as research reports and introductions to EDOs, aka Economic Development Organizations, that do have the grants that can help you with your businesses. However, I'd like to note, SelectUSA is a neutral entity and cannot suggest one EDO or state over another. However, once a business or company knows a general area or location that they want to invest, we can provide more detailed information to help them finalize their site selection process. I also encourage you all to come to the SelectUSA Investment Summit that is happening from June 26th to the 29th of 2022 at the Gaylord National Harbor, which is a hotel in Maryland. At the 2022 SelectUSA Investment Summit, you will be networking with over 150 C-suite executives and cabinet officials, as well as governors. You will also be able to meet over 700 U.S. economic development representatives from 45 plus states and territories in one location, and you are able to network with over 1,200 other business investors from either other countries or from countries adjacent to your own, in which you can help find out more information from what they're doing to also help utilize your own project that you're trying to invest in the United States. That is all I have to say for today. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. Here's my email, melissa.eaddy@trade.gov. I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you so much.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Maggie Chao from Communication Industry Development Project Office related by the IDB under Ministry of Economic Affairs. Thank you for joining the seminar today, and I'm going to give you a very brief introduction on Taiwan ICT industry. So Taiwan is good at hardware manufacturing, such as the notebook, the tablet, just name it. We are the ICT hardware market share ranks worldwide #1. But we are also good at the software, and the software here we're talking about the ICT service penetration rate, also the internet usage rate. So it gives us a very good advantage for our industry, which means that with this kind of service penetration rate and high internet usage, which means the people here in Taiwan, they are able to and are willing to use this kind of internet service. So with this kind of situation, that is our industry a very good advantage to develop the product not only, but also have a very good environment to develop better solutions, even better service. And maybe we can take a look at our ecosystem here. We have a very comprehensive supply chain from the CPE, which include the wireless and wire solution like the 5G, 4G, or the DSL or cable. We also have the small cell, the transport, the core, and in recent years, we have more and more system integrators. And now we have 3 major operators in Taiwan. So our industry have recognized by globally. And here are just some of the global operator partner reference for your information. And we all know that today's the telecom service is tough. We are always looking for most cost-effective solutions, also looking for the private network service for the enterprise market. So this also push our industry from the OEM, ODM to more diverse market development. For example, our industry start to leverage the flexibility in the hardware manufacturing. We start to put more effort on the 5G open networking development. Also, our industry also start trying to work with the partner with the domain knowledge so that they can work together to integrate the solutions and to conduct the vertical market service, such as the smart manufacturing service in their own factory, or some smart entertainment solution that I can show you one cases. And take 5G, for example. 5G is a very important topic in our industry, especially the open networking development. So in 2020, with the support from our government, Ministry of Economic Affairs, also the global ecosystem partner, we have established a carrier-grade 5G open network lab. And in 2021, we even approved by the TIP, which is Telecom Infra Project, a global organization to promote the open networking development, as the first TIP integration lab in Asia. So that we can, with this TIP integration lab in Taiwan, that we can focus on the testing product and solutions in an end-to-end environment. Also, we are able to hold the plug fest, validate the product majority, and award the badge and ribbons accordingly. That way we can recommend and connect the global operators, system integrators, all those, and the solution partners with all those qualified suppliers here in Taiwan. And speaking of the vertical market experience, I would like to share with you a very interesting experience that we work with the operator in Taiwan called Taiwan Mobile. Taiwan Mobile actually has its own baseball stadium, and they try to turn it into a 5G smart stadium. So they work with the industry, also with Eaddy. They have conducted a lot of interesting solutions, such as the 3D holographic projection application. Like you can play the baseball just like you play with the baseball players. They also have the AR instant interactive entertainment application that when you see the games, you can receive the real-time game information. They even have the 4K VR live broadcasting. When you wear the goggles, you are just like you are sitting in the middle of the stadium. So Taiwan Mobile just brought a whole new baseball game experience into the sport industry. So except for that, our government also conduct the largest field for the AIoT service in Taiwan, which is in Kaohsiung. This is the south of Taiwan. So that we can provide a very good environment for our industry to conduct a multi-service, such as the VR concert at the music center, or the MICE service at the exhibition hall, or can conduct the smart manufacturing service at the China Steel Corporation, which is a national-owned company here. So that we can try to help our company to conduct a lot of vertical service with the real field, so that they can provide this kind of experience to their customers. And this one just comes to the summary of my presentation today, that we have a very comprehensive 5G and broadband supply chain. We also have a global recognized open network lab that we can help to integrate and validate the solutions that we're going to work with. And our industry has accumulated a lot of vertical solutions with the deployment experience, also the local reference, so that we're definitely the partners that you are looking for. And here are the 6 presenting Taiwanese companies: Edwin, Acton, Zycel, QCT, ST, and Campo. And all their solution covers from the 5G, LTE, AIoT, and vertical solutions. And I hope you all will enjoy the fruitful presentation later. Thank you.